Hey guys,
Hey,
Winter and Jason. I couldn't do it alone today. Sometimes when I get on here, it's dead and it's hard to talk to just the screen. And you probably see my eyes like go crazy. So I was like, you know what, Jason, my right hand man, you're coming on today. And
if I,
known 30 minutes ago. So go ahead, Jason. What were you
I,
gonna say?
I am happy to be here. It's been a little while, so
Mhm. Yeah,
glad to
you've
be
been on
back on the
before.
show.
Yep. So you are like you really are the right hand man of Tussle and me and so many other things. So you should probably be on more shows. Yeah.
I would happy to be. I mean, I can't do my own shows because I'm not cool enough. So I'd be happy to
You're
join yours.
100% cool. 100% cool. But yeah, so what's been going on? What's going on with you? What are you working
Well,
on?
so yeah, what am I working on? So my favorite thing right now that I'm working on, huge project. I am learning a new CRM, Clio, CLIO. It's for law firms. Hopefully to integrate with some websites that I've been working on, and I really enjoy it so far. I've been enjoying the process. The learning process is always a good thing. I love to learn, but anytime you get to learn a new piece of software that seems like it's going to fit your client's needs really well is always exciting.
Sure. And that's something very specific what we do at Tussle. So we're not like, you know what, we just know this one thing. And so therefore you gotta fit in that box or like we can't work with you. We actually are very, Jason, you coined this term for us as boutique, where we really address your needs and whatever you need. And we'll go explore that. Like if we don't have that skill set today, there's not a lot that scares us. Not to say that like we're really green going in, like, you know, over like reaching what's in our potential, but like CRMs mostly kind of fit in a box where they're kind of all the same. They might look a little bit different, might taste or do a few different little things, but they're all kind of the same, just like feel different, right? Like it depends on the need.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so far this one passes the sniff test for me. I've been
Ooh,
enjoying learning. They have a really cool onboarding program where you take all these quizzes and stuff like that. Some of them are fun. I've learned a lot about coffee, which I guess is a big deal to the people at Clio because they've
all
asked a lot of
right.
questions about coffee. But I like it when a software company adds a little bit of their personality to the
Sure.
process. So it's been cool.
All right. You know what? We'll have to come back and do another tussle tip on CRMs. Now that has nothing to do. We're spending a little minute here on it. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with today. But I do want to bring that back another time to talk CRMs. So today's conversation is really on. We're still talking websites. So over the last week, well, really last month, we've been talking websites. So about a month ago, we did a online seminar or webinar, whatever webinar on what should be on your basically pages of your website, like in general. What are those key components? Not just pages, but the different components. How many words do you need to have? What kind of images do you need to have? How's the messaging need to be on your website? And then now we're transitioning to, so in May 15th, we're doing our first in-person seminar, not a webinar, like in person, okay? Website training, and it's a website express class. So it's 2 hours long, and basically you're going to work with Jason and I. We're going to go over the key components that you need to build on your website. Because most people, like at least the people that we deal with, they probably built their site on Squarespace, GoDaddy, what's some other ones?
Wix,
Wix, Google.
Google, Google.
There's something. They're all kind of like a CRM, like we were just mentioning. They're all kind of the same. They just look and feel a little bit differently. And the thing that's great about Wix and GoDaddy and Google is like they're kind of cheap, right? And they tell you you can build a website yourself, and you can, right? You absolutely can. But then there's like things that you need to know, just like anything, those intricate details. So just any do-it-yourself project is normally like not good. All right, not good at all. Hi, Trisha. Thank you for joining in today. All right, Trisha, I would love to hear some maybe your do-it-yourself stuff that you've done, but particularly with websites, do-it-yourself websites. They are a great starting point, but sometimes if you don't have the skill set, maybe you don't have the capacity to take it on. So sometimes like, oh, I'm gonna build my own website, and it's like, when are you going to do that? You're running your business, you got other things to do, and you like people don't get very far. Basically, whatever the not excuse, but whatever the reason, people don't get very far, and so they get frustrated. And so we see a lot of times bad websites or no websites. You may be on the other end of you just
Yeah.
don't have a website. Maybe
Yeah,
you
I
pulled
like.
the trigger on buying the URL, but you haven't done anything with it, which is fine. Jason, what
I
were you
like
gonna
to I like to think of it as like a trip to the home improvement store, right? You go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you walk down the aisle where they got the flooring laid out, and there's all these options for flooring.
Mhm.
And yeah, they install pretty much the same, and they say you can do it yourself. But right below that, there's a little sign that says professional installation, because really the truth is it's not so easy. And if
It's
you
not.
had time and the expertise to do it, you would probably be doing it for a profession, right? I've been trying to install a floor in my house for like the better part of 5 years, and it's never quite done because there's always something that's not quite right with it.
I feel that my whole house is like a DIY project. Everything is just in the process, but never fully done because we think
Right.
we
Yeah.
can on. I'm thinking of Jamie Gallegos right now. Iakia's home improvement probably needs to be on our show and kind of like tell us how to fix or just do the stuff, right? Like we're web experts, we're social media experts. We deal with things that are digital, but home improvement projects we
Yeah.
probably shouldn't do. And you can apply that to literally anything. You probably shouldn't do your own taxes. You probably shouldn't, I don't know, be your own lawyer. You probably like really technical things. And even though, yes, there actually is, so do it yourself home projects, do it yourself, like lawyer documents you can do. But you probably, even taxes, probably you shouldn't do at some point. Like there are some reasons where it makes sense, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. And many times that is websites. So because of time, energy, effort, capacity, intricate details, like what we do in seconds, sometimes minutes. We actually are working with a client that took a year to make her website on GoDaddy. And the thing is, websites don't take a year to make on GoDaddy. And I share that, and she's confident with me sharing that. Like they just don't take a year. There's just mental roadblocks. It is overwhelming, right? It is. So GoDaddy is easy to use, but like you get to define easy. So
well, and the other thing is that when it's your own project, you're going to be the person who wants, and I know this goes from even websites I design for my personal stuff, my own personal websites. You spend more time tweaking it and, I don't like that color. I don't like this. So it's never in a state of doneness. And that's just not good for your mental space for all the other things you need to do for your business.
Right. Like picking apart the color, but you're not getting your verbiage right. Pick it, I need to go take this photo, but you probably could go grab stock images and things that like we know that we do for a living. We just can rattle them off where you're like, I need to go research this right now because I don't know how to do it. And it can, again, be super overwhelming. So work with an expert or learn from an expert. That's the whole purpose of our seminar on May 15th. It's $65 to attend. I promise you will not find anyone like us doing what we're doing because we want to teach, right? You might already have these things in place, but you haven't pulled the trigger, again, from time, capacity, know-how, whatever. We just want to help you. So not everyone needs to work with us to build their site. And if you're that more hands-on, but maybe don't have some of those things, let us help you. All right, that's what we love at Tustle. We love to teach, implement, and consult. And we want to do all of those things, and we're really here to help. So May 15th, that is our upcoming seminar. So check that out. But that's also, again, not what we're here to talk about today. we're still talking about websites, but one of the things.
So what are we here to talk about today?
What do we have with you guys all the time, right? So websites in particular, so it's just like a key piece. I say small thing, but it can become a big thing. If you don't know what you're doing or thinking through. And I wanted to talk through about pages. So I've talked about home pages. We've talked about key components on a website. We've talked about different functions on your website. Sounds like we're going to be talking about CRMs in the future, which also relate to website, connecting it to your website. But about pages, I think, are a really underrated thing that people don't see very valuable. And managing different websites, like I have this like hard data too, that about pages are usually your second most visited page on your website in general. So before you say like about page doesn't really matter, I'll just put something very quickly, or you write the novel. We've seen some really long, just want to share about them, and which is fine. It's maybe we wanted to share some key tips of how to kind of overcome that, because we see it as like prime real estate, right? So it might not be your homepage, but people do want to get to know you, and there's just a way to showcase that correctly. So that's what we're talking about today, Jason. I'm going to ask you a few questions, as Jason is our key expert when it comes to website design and building. So thankful to have him on our team. So Jason, these there are things that we haven't even talked about these questions, and I'm just kind of riffing them off. But here,
It's okay.
Yeah. What do you think makes a great about page? Like, what do you think when you see one? How do you know
well,
it's good?
so obviously the story of you is important, but the story of you and how you can serve your clients is doubly important. People are on your website not to really know about you, but what you can do for them. So the story you tell is vitally important to relate somehow back to the services you offer, whether that be, saying your ethos as a company or whatever. The key really is, you want to tell them, I'm married, I have a wife or a husband, or I have kids or a dog or whatever. That's all good stuff. But you really need to make sure that you relate the story of you back to how you can serve them, because they're not there to get to know you. They're there to get to know how that you can help them.
Yep, that's basically the whole premise of your whole website at the end of the day. It's not you being amazing, right? There's different ways to show you are amazing, because everyone that we work with is amazing in their own way. There's just certain key pieces to kind of think through. Like one being, like comes to mind, is really easy, like the word count, right? Like, again, whether it's super small, right? You see that one paragraph and you're like, well, that didn't tell me anything, right? Or you see the novel and you hear when they, I don't know, like this journey, which again, it's fun, but there's other ways to do that. Particularly if you're hitting that over 500, your about page probably needs to have some highlight points and probably a really nice video telling your story, because people don't read. We've talked about before. They want to watch the video and kind of get to know you. And just rule of thumb, video is a great concept to have on your website anyways, right? So people do want to see, unfortunately, they want to see what you look like, or see how you sound, or see how you might react. Are you smiling? Are you happy? Right. So even having video, we've done actually some training on videos of like how you need to be on a video. Because we've also seen, right, people have video and they talk like this, and you come to our company, something like crazy, like, ooh, I'm actually laughing at you right now. Like you're not even, smiling, or, you're scared or whatever. So again, you might want to have some video on your about page. Another thing that comes to mind too is, not just having video, but like you do have to have words. So you don't think, oh, I'll just do a video and done, right? Like some people might say it's easier to record than have to write something up. Well, there's some ways to like display it, like break it up, right? Jason, you're really good when it comes to like design, right? Like you might bold some words. You might have a piece here and maybe have the video in the middle and then continue the story. Like it can't all be text.
Right. Yeah, think about if you went to, let's say you were going to a new state or a new city, and you went to the tourist office, and you have that big rack, and it's got all these cards to look at, all the cool places you'd visit. If you picked one up and it was just a front and back of words that are all exactly the same font size, no spacing, 0 pictures, you'd probably put it back and be like, nope, that sounds terrible. even if it was the most amazing thing in the world, it would just be like, no, this is ridiculous. Back in the rack, you go for the one that's got the big picture, bold text, nicely designed, because despite some people's experience or opinions, design really matters. Like it really matters.
Sure.
And there's why there are, that's why Nike website has all these components, and all these other major companies have all these components, and you would want those same components on your website, right? Because they're paying designers hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, huge firms, to do the same thing. But you can carry those same principles across to your website.
Absolutely.
So, different size texts, layouts that are attractive and easy for your eye to follow, photos, and make it authentic. If it's a picture of you, if you're talking about your past, then have a picture of your past. Don't just be a glamour shot from the last week. If you're talking about what's that?
You have to stock
and
photos,
definitely, not on the about page. The about page should have 0 stock photos.
Like, is that Win? That's a little boy. I don't know about that.
No stock photos on the about page. Make it about you. Make it authentic. That's a word we throw around a lot as millennials. Win and I are both millennials. It matters to the millennial audience probably more than in any other audience in history. The authenticity of the content that we're consuming is extremely vital. That's why places like YouTube are kicking the butt of traditional broadcast television, because people prefer to watch an authentic story than a contrived story. So when you're writing your about page, think about authenticity as well.
I think too, that's why about pages are so popular, because people don't want to just know the service, right? Like people, you hear stories, like they want to know, like, who are your buyers? Who are your sellers? Like, are you green? Like what's ever important to your audience? showcase that, right? So you're showing how you help them, but like speak to them directly in it, right? So it's not just to showcase who you are, it's really to be authentic in that moment. So if it is like the phone with your picture, it's okay. The picture from the 80s, right? When you had bad hair and you're just saying like, maybe you're a salon now, like I grew up with bad hair. I did. My mom, I had teased bangs in the 90s, everyone.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to see that picture.
Okay, teased bangs, and I had perms in my hair as a child, but we'll save that for another day.
Throwback Thursday time.
Yeah, throwback. Yeah, this is Tuesday, y'all. But yeah, you just be real in that moment, and that's why your about page is probably going to be your second most popular page, most visited page, because people want to see like what they're getting into. It's more than you change my oil, I buy clothes from you, I get the service from you. They're going to want to, yes, Trisha, I had a perm in my hair. I see you commenting. They want to see you as you. So don't not this fluff and gruff.
Can I pull out a pet peeve real quick?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I got the Jason G pet peeve on about pages and really on websites in general. If you are a company of one, if it is you, do not write we or our. It is you. Own it. Yeah. I am me. It's your story.
I have a pet peeve to that pet peeve. If you're more than one, showcase your team and talk about your company, right? Not you. Yes, you might have there can be definitely a place of who started it, but the company is not you're not your business. You're a human being, right? I am not Tustle Marketing. You are you're more than, if you have more than one team member, highlight that, show the team pictures. It can't just be, this is me shaking a hand. Okay, that's another one too. When you see a bunch of pictures of the same person doing different shots, I've seen that a few times. Won't call anyone out, but they're look to the left, look to the right. Here's my glare. They're in the same outfit the whole time.
Well, yeah, they hired a photographer to do a session.
Yeah, the photos are great. But again, people aren't there. Yes, they want to know you, but they also want to know how you can help them. That's really at the end of the day. Yeah. So glamour shots, maybe you're making fun of it or something, but that can't be your whole.
I'm actually a big fan, and obviously I did it with you, Wynn, but I'm actually a big fan of lifestyle portraits when you're doing photos for your company. So instead of just the very traditional, headshot on a white background, which by the way I have because but I really like the concept of a lifestyle portrait. If you're in a place where you work, say you're like a mechanic in a garage, picture in front of your favorite car that you've ever worked on, that kind of thing. If you're in an office space, a picture in front of your office or in front of your computer or in front of something beautiful. If you're more of a nondescript job, then at a park or at the beach or something that shows an environment of the life you want to live, I think is really valuable because it shows that you're a human, not just a cutout on a white background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people want that authentic. Right? That actually probably should have been the title of today's, but an authentic about us page. But your about page is important. That's really the conversation of today. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. We're able to answer them even after we're live. But we just want everyone to have a great best foot forward. People are already going to go to your website, and we would rather them say yes to you, right? Just by seeing your website than I don't even know how I feel about this. And they haven't even talked to you or tried out your product or service. And people do make decisions that quickly. We've talked about this before, bad websites, yes, can still get business. We actually work with clients who were getting business, and we're like, how have you been getting business from the structure or the way that this looks? It can be done. And I think that speaks to the superior quality or service. Just think through if they did have a great website and an amazing website that was clean, that told their story, that got them the person from point A to point B. So websites are prime real estate, and your about page is just as it's the number 2 most visited page. It's just as important. So don't leave it to waste or do it haphazardly and think oh, why am I not getting business? And I'm not going to say if you have a crappy about page that you're not going to get business, but people will make decisions from there. That's why they're visiting your about page, to see if you're legit.
I love analogies, and you probably know this. We work
Mhm.
together enough that I love analogies. But I always think about a website as buying a car. So if you're going to go buy a $4,000 or $2,000 POS car, just a clunker to get you from point A to point B, you're probably not going to care all that much about the quality of the dealership offices that you're sitting in. If there's a little
Mhm.
grease on the floor and coffee kind of dried on the tables and magazines from 4 years ago, you're not going to pay attention because you're kind of getting that experience. If you're going to buy a Mercedes or a BMW or any high-end car, and
Mhm.
you walked into a dealership that had that same thing, seats with rips in the cushions and maybe a 4-year-old magazine with a coffee cup stain on it, and the TV was a TV that had that was a deep
Yep.
TV and not like a skinny TV, like
You
an
better be
LED.
offered water, right? You better have the most
Right.
comfy chair, right?
It's
Like
all
you make
about the
sure
full
you buy
experience.
name, right? Yeah, if you're an
There
employee
is there
dealership,
is
yeah.
absolutely a reason why a Mercedes dealership is the nicest dealership you're going to sit in. I mean, maybe Bentley or something like that, but I
Mhm.
mean, compare that to the Bob's Used Cars dealership down the road,
Mhm.
and they're going to be completely different experiences. And there's a reason why. And your website should be your differentiator. Now,
Yeah.
if you're selling $4,000 used cars, by all means, you can have a 20-year-old website. But if you're trying to sell something that's not a 40-year-old used car for $2,000, you probably want to be thinking about that Mercedes-Benz, even mid-range cars, Honda and all those.
Mhm.
They have beautiful showrooms, and there's a reason for it.
Yep. Yeah, people want like no matter like there is a price point, but people want quality, easy to use, user friendly. These are all things that we've talked about before, and we'll continue to talk about because it's like they're never going out of style. What we're saying here today, I do not see changing anytime soon. Like things are
Likely.
always changing, right? And trends. But particularly like your homepage and your about page, those are your number two first, and it's like homepage being your first, right? That's what everybody goes to, and then people want to see who you are. So I can't wait. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I can't wait to tune in to next Tustle Tip Tuesday. If you have any suggestions, put them in the comments. We would love to answer them. They're really based on what things that we're seeing or hearing. We do free consultation, so a free 30-minute consultation. If you have a question about your business and you don't know how to get started, you can go to tusslemarketing.com and book it for free. And we're just going to talk to you. Jason or I will talk to you and kind of work through whatever question that you might have. It might be your website, social media, how to get started. There's so many things that we address and can address internally with our team. So, and we take it also too very seriously. We take very seriously the recommendations that we're making. And so these are things that we would want for ourselves, our children, our family, right? And we treat our customers just like that as well. So
Yep.
let us know in the comments what you thought of today's show. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and tune out. Guys, I hope you have a great Tustle Tip Tuesday, and we'll see you next week. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.